Hey Rich, hey Bruce. Rich contacted me and said that you might be interested in trying one of these digital escape the rooms. So I thought I'd give you a couple pointers. I don't put the directions that I give to my students on the digital escape the room, just because I think it just makes the site seem too big. Usually what I do is I'll email them through our LMS, or I'll just give them the directions verbally at the beginning of class. But I thought I'd go over a couple things that might help this activity go a little bit more smoothly in your class. I'll tell you a little bit about it, the digital escape the room, and what I put in there, and also I'll go over some of the clues. I can provide you with an answer key at the end. So this is my chemistry one. I have others, but this is the one that has to do with chemistry. We've had a couple teachers already go through this one and it worked, so that's already been tested out. There's three main parts to the digital escape the room. You have the introductory kind of like storyline that gets them and takes them into either that time period, or it gives them a little background information just to get them going. And that's here with Gilbert Lewis. The second part that you have is your escape the room. This is actually the only one that I did with a room, and I hid the clues within the room. If you look closely, you could probably find them pretty easily, but all they have to do is move their cursor over top of it and do some random clicking, and they'll be able to find it. And the last part is the lock form. So this form is going to handle all of our locks. And so they need to figure out each clue, and then they have to get the code and put it into the lock form. And if they do it successfully, they'll get out of the room. If they don't, a message will come up saying that there's an error and that they should try again, and then they can go back and keep working at it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to act like I'm giving you directions at the beginning of the class. That way this will go a little bit more smoothly in your class. The first thing that I do is I give them a welcome, and I kind of tell them what this is all about, and I ask them if they've ever heard of a digital escape the room, or if they have participated in an actual physical escape the room. Some of the students will know what you're talking about. Others will have no clue, and it's fine. You just got to tell them that they'll probably get frustrated because this is going to challenge them to think in a different way. And once they get the hang of it, once they get through a clue or two, it usually gets faster, quicker, and most of the time they have success getting out. I think we had 8 class periods that went, and I think there was maybe 10 groups in each class period, and I would say that the success rate is about 90%, 95%. So I would explain that to them. The next thing that you would want to tell them is just the overview, what I just gave you of the site. But when you get down to the Google form, which is the lock sheet, I would really recommend that one person in the group just open up that lock form in a different browser window. So if you look at the top right, this allows them to open the Google form outside of the site. And the reason why I have them do that is because if they're working on the site and they accidentally refresh the site and they didn't pull the Google form outside of the site, then they'll lose all their codes and everything that they put in so far. So the two ways around that is just have one person open the form in a separate window and leave it there, or you could tell them just to write down all the answers until they get them on, and they could type them in. Let me back up a second and say that I usually put students in groups of 2 or 3. I don't like to go more than 3 unless I have to, because then you typically have one person kind of, being the spectator instead of the participator. 2 is a good number as well. There's some success there, and 3, there's a lot of success at 3 as well. So I guess I'll go over some of the clues, where you'll find them in the digital escape the room, and I'll give you the answers at the end. Before I get into the clues, I just want to preface this with any type of clue that they have, they'll be able to make a copy of the clue and put it directly into their Google Drive. I force copy everything, that way they're not changing my work, and also so they have a copy of it so they could study from if they would like. So when you look around this room, because I am the one that made this, and in Google Sites you're always in editing option, you're not going to see the arrow, the cursor change, but on the students' Chromebooks and everything, this arrow pointer will change to a hand when they go over a clue. So there's several clues in here, so we'll just start with the clock one first. We'll click on it, and it's going to force you to make a copy. Alright, we'll click make a copy, so now they will have a copy of this in their digital, or in their Google Drive. So this first clue basically asks them to watch a video, and then what they're going to do is they're going to answer these questions. Alright, make sure that they're capitalizing everything. I just keep that the same throughout the whole Digital Escape the Room experience. I keep everything capitalized in the Google form as well. And over here I give them some hints, whether it's one word, 5 numbers, no spaces. The more that you could give them like that, the less opportunity that they're doing something wrong but still have the right answer. And in some of the earlier Digital Escape the Rooms, I saw that this was happening, so this is how I corrected it. But basically they're going to answer these 5 questions, and then it's going to turn the cells a different color. If the cell turns red, that means they have the wrong answer. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in these answers, and then I'll come back and explain the next piece. So I went in and I filled out the correct answers for all the questions except one, because I just wanted to show you what the wrong answer looked like. I'm going to change this to the correct answer. So once the students get all the correct answers, they'll be able to go to the lock sheet and or the lock form, and they'll be able to figure out what lock they need to use this password for. And it's pretty easy because they're dealing with colors. So they would write down green, purple, yellow, blue, purple, and then they would go out to the lock form. So that's actually let's go here and just open a new lock form. That guy's mowing outside, so they could fill in their name, and this just forces them to open up a new tab for the forum, so they don't lose their work as they're doing the Digital Escape the Room. Alright, so this is the actual lock form. Here's the directional lock, so they could tell by the colors, and then I give them hints just like I did in the sheet. 5 letters needed. I tell them capital letters, but on here it doesn't work. There's the capital letters, and it's the decipher. So green, purple, yellow, blue, purple. So you saw that when it's incorrect, it highlights in red, but as soon as you get the correct answer, that goes away. And now they're able to move to the next one. So this Digital Escape the Room, I make them go in order, so they might find all the clues, but they'll be able to figure out which one that they need there. So now they would go to the next one, and number 2 is the naming ionics crossword. So what they have to do is they have to go back out into the Digital Escape the Room, and they'll have to find the crossword. And I'm taking a guess here. Naming ion, yep, this is the correct one. They'll make a copy. And now what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to name these ionic compounds and put them in there. And then when they fill out everything, now if you have Kami, they could easily just type in there. If not, usually what I tell them to do is take a piece of scratch paper, or I'll even make a copy of this, and I'll hand it out as they find clue number 2. I'll give it to them so they can answer it. Don't give them If you're going to do that, just give them the crossword puzzle shell. Don't give them the across and down stuff. Otherwise, they can solve this without even finding it. But what I do is I typically take this and I'll give them a copy of it without the yellow boxes as well. And I'll just give them the shell of the crossword. But I've never had a problem where students would just write down the number of blanks on a piece of paper, or they use Kami. So those are two different ways. Once you do this, the yellow boxes will make a word. And what I did over here to make it easier, so it's not really a word scramble. It goes in order from, so the yellow box in 1 would be the letter that would go up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and figure out what the answer is real quick. I think it's diced, D-I-C-E-D. I'm pretty sure. So, and that's just from the solving the ionic equations, writing out the letters to that. So let's go over to our lock form. As you can see, our lock form says that our next lock is a directional lock, so we're looking for a way to get north, south, east, and west. So let's go back to our digital escape room. Our third clue, I believe, is this piece of paper up on the box. We're going to make a copy of it. And that's going to give us a periodic table and also this link. So they're going to have to go to Jigsaw Planet. Once they're into Jigsaw Planet, I've already solved the puzzle. What they're going to have to do is use this Google Drawlinks to find the answer to the directional lock. It looks like down here there's a compass, and whatever the answers are will give them a direction. So use the crisscross method to figure out the correct ionic formula for each compound. Find the total number of atoms needed to neutralize the atom. Alright, so magnesium chloride, magnesium is 2+, chloride is minus. They do the flip-flop, and that will give them their answer there. So the answer to number 1 is going to be 3, because they need 2 chlorine atoms and 1 magnesium, so a total of 3 atoms to make it a neutral compound. So the first answer is south. Alright, so once you go through all 5 of these, your answer is going to be south, east, east, south, west. Okay, southeast, east, southwest. So we go back to the lock form and we will type in south, east, east, southwest. Got that correct answer. And we go to the next one, which is the number lock. So now our next one, we need to find out a 5-digit number. So let's go back to the digital escape room. Alright, so our first 3 clues were pretty easy. There's a clock, there's a beaker, there's a piece of paper. Our last clue is actually over here on the table, and it's not linked to anything, but I do have this extra hint down the bottom. So when you click on it, it's going to ask you to make a copy, which we will, and then it's going to pop up. This is a red reveal. You're not going to be able to see this, I don't believe, on your screen, because you have to look at the red reveal on your own screen and tilt the screen in order to see it. So the way that you do that is you take this little red reveal circle here, you take it over the hidden message. The red's going to cancel out the red that's in the scrambled message, and it's going to show the blue. So this is one of my favorite ones because they think it's cool because they didn't know that they could do this. I think it's cool because it's something different, and I pretty much put this in every single escape the room that I do. But normally what you would do is you would tilt your screen, and then it would make it easier to read. But it says, congratulations, you have found the hidden message. Clue number 4 is hidden in the picture. Use your pointer and mouse. So like I said earlier, when you scroll over the hidden clues within the room, your pointer changes from the regular pointer to a hand. and that's going to let them know that it's there. Some students find this hidden message or this hidden clue ahead of time, just noticing that the pointer changes, and I never tell them that. I let them figure it out. And some uses the secret red reveal to help them get that clue. So the secret clue is somewhere over here, and sometimes it takes me a couple clicks to find it because on my computer I don't get the hand since I'm the one that this is in editing mode. But I'm going to see if I can click on it and find it. There we go. And we're going to make a copy like we always do. And this one's a little harder, so I don't know what level of chemistry that you're teaching Bruce, but sometimes it is warranted to give them maybe a polyatomic ions cheat sheet that gives them the formulas and everything. But the gist behind this clue is they have to answer these 5 questions, and that will give them the 5 numbers. So how many of the polyatomic ions have a charge of -1 or 1-, and then 2-, 3-, 1+, and how many polyatomic ions are paired incorrectly down here with the formula. So what we're going to do is we're going to take time to go over each one of these and get the correct answers. So for the first 4, they're going to use these up here. How many polyatomic ions have 1-, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? So the first answer is 5. 2- is, let's see here, 1, 2, 3. So it's 5, 3. And then how many have 3-? That would be 1. 1+, that would be 1. And how many are paired incorrectly? That would be 5. Alright, so we would go over to our lock form with those answers. And we would type in 5, 3, 1, 1, 5 to get the correct answer. They would hit next, and I gave them an explanation of what happened, and it says, "Congratulations, you've successfully completed the chemistry digital escape the room." So with that, they can show you this, and if you start them all at the same time, you can figure out the timing, and then the Google Forms spreadsheet is pretty obsolete, but like I said, if you ever want that data, I can give it to you. So that's the digital escape the room. I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any problems or if you want me to explain anything better. But I hope you have a good time. And Rich, if you want to share any of the other digital escape the rooms that was on that interactive CV that I gave you, feel free to share those with teachers as well. And if they would like me to go through them to kind of give them the gist of the digital escape the room and the answers, I'm more than happy to do that. So Bruce, good luck. Let me know how it goes. Any feedback is greatly appreciated.